welcome to the Inner Game of Entrepreneurship podcast. I'm your host, Sarah, and I'm coming to you today with an episode that was not what I was planning to release this week, but I am coming to you from the midst of a week that is not what I was planning this week to be. So this is where we are. I want to tell you a little bit about what's going on in my life and my business right now, because it's all very sudden and unexpected and exciting. So I'm coming to you from the middle of this. It's not past where I can tie a tidy bow on it and give you all of the lessons summed up. I'm literally right in the middle of it, but it is so fascinating for me to observe, and I hope really valuable for you to observe as well. So for one thing, y'all have been around here long enough to know, I'm sure, that I am a spiritual girly. And recently I've been really trying to get back to like my manifestation 101 bag. I've had some launches recently that didn't go the way that I wanted them to. And I really got into this place of like, oh, the sales I got like don't even matter because it's not profitable because I didn't make enough. And my darling best friend, who is also a coach, was like, okay, cool. And I get that that feels hard, but you did get new clients and you're not really celebrating what is happening that's working. You're really focused right now on your expectations not being met. You're dismissing the abundance that's coming into your life and calling it not enough and calling it not good enough and saying it doesn't count. And like, that's not going to get you where you want to go. Thank God for friends, right? And I was like, you're right. Let me get my head screwed on straight. And sometimes we really do have to go back to the basics and back to our beginning principles. And for me, that's always journaling. Y'all know I love a journal prompt. I love to be journaling. And so sitting down with my journal and writing out as though it's already happened, what I want my life to look like. Like it's April at this point 4th, like it's April 4th of 2027. And here's all of the things that have happened in my life. And I'm so grateful. And I was getting so granularly specific about how much money I was making in the business every month, how many sales we were making, these sold out programs. And this mantra that I've said for a long time, which is that everything I drop sells out. I really want, and this is the first time I've ever said this on the podcast or said it out loud, I want to be the kind of person who, when I drop an offer, it sells out immediately. We see those coaches talking about, oh, I just dropped this last night and 100 people have already opted in. Historically, that has not been my experience. And so one of my mantras is everything I drop sells out. But I had not been connected to the feeling of that. And so I was really in this feeling of, I have this engaged audience who trusts me and listens to me. And when I open a program, people move. And when I launch things, like there's action, things just happen. The time between me putting my energy forward and people rushing to meet it is really short. And I was sitting in bed journaling this on last Saturday morning, which happens to be the 4/4 portal. Didn't think about that until later in the day. I was just having my normal morning of coffee and journaling in bed. And as I was writing this future cast vision of what my life was like a year from now and what had happened and all of the income very specifically spelled out and the number of clients all specifically spelled out, I got this hit. I got this really sudden, very specific, the kids call it a download, this very clear instruction that I could put out a program for people who were just starting out in business and were not full-time in their business yet and wanted to be full-time in their business by this time next year. That's their future vision, is I'm full-time in my business by this time next year. And I don't know where that came from, especially because just a couple years ago, I sunset my program for beginning entrepreneurs, and I have been entirely focused on established entrepreneurs who are scaling for the past couple of years. All my copy has changed. All of my programs are changed. All of my marketing has changed. I only talk to established entrepreneurs. I only have offerings for established entrepreneurs now. That's my client. But I just had this sudden hit of, there are people out there who really need this and really want this. And what would happen if I just put out an offer saying that I was going to take people from just starting out or wobbly in their business to full-time in their business by this time next year? And if I'm delusionally passionate about where I want my business to be by this time next year, and I am not accepting anything else for an answer, There are people who feel the same way. And if this is how they feel and they're ready to get in and do the work, then I can take them there. I know I can take them there. I've done it before. It wouldn't be that hard. And I was like, it would be $2,500 or 5 payments of $500, a pretty accessible price point, but enough investment to get skin in the game at a beginner level. I'm not making a sales page for it. I'm just moving in my pajamas with my coffee, closed my journal. This idea just hit me and I moved. I closed my journal. I picked up my laptop and I wrote an email. And I said, if I get 20 people in this by the end of the day, I'm doing it. And if I don't, I won't. That was the only thing I got wrong. By the end of the day, I had 5. And I was like, okay. Well, I had a little wobble. What if I don't get 20? What if it doesn't work? What if I don't get all the people I want? What if it doesn't hit the way that I want it to hit? And what if I have to give all these people their money back? And I really don't want to do that. And, but if I don't get 20, I'm not going to be making enough to deliver the caliber of work that I want to deliver, because I mapped out what I would make if I got 20 people in at $2,500 each. That's roughly $50,000 for the program. That pays about $4,000 a month for the operation of this program. And between my time and my team for the operation of it, that feels doable. Lower than that doesn't really feel good for the business. And so I was like, okay, we need 20 to make this go. What could I do if I don't get 20? Maybe I'll write them back and I'll say, I'm going to keep your money. But what if it's a quarter? And I was like, no, it's got to be a year, because I can't get them where I need to get them in a quarter. I know that we can do this. I'm going to leave it open one more day. I'm just going to hold the field. I'm just not willing to accept that there's not 20 people who want this. I know there's 20 people who want it. There's probably just not enough people who have seen it yet. And now I'm in it for the 5 who want it. I had a few other people email me with some questions. I was like, okay, evidence that it's working. People want this. I'm just going to keep moving. A couple weeks ago on the equinox, I hosted this equinox event, and several people who signed up for that event filled out my intake form for the event and told me they were just starting their businesses. Not the ideal client for the launch event, for the product that launch event was for, which is Powerhouse Mastermind. That's for established entrepreneurs. But I was like, well, now I have something for these people. I individually emailed all of those people from my bed and said, I didn't have something for you with the equinox, but now I do. Here's what I've got for you. Here's what's going on. A couple of those people jumped in because they had an amazing time at the equinox ritual. And this was a really accessible way for them to start. And they were like, I'm scared, but this feels right. Let's do it. I made a couple of posts on my Instagram, just made a couple of reels saying, here's what I'm doing. Here's what's going on. Here's the download that I got. By this point, I realized it was the 4-4 portal, which is the portal about taking your dreams and making them stable, making them manifest. And I'm a life path 4. And I was like, okay, this is all, it just feels aligned in this way that I felt very on fire about. I really truly believe it's an all hands on deck time for humanity. And this is the mission of my business. I say all the time, why I do this work is because one of the things that aches my soul the most is the idea that the best and brightest of our world, the artists, the creatives, the healers, the activists, the people with a big desire to help the planet, people who are here to literally heal people and create beauty, being underemployed in a day job that doesn't care about them, having the best of their energy extracted from them, not being able to make a living doing the work that they incarnated to do, that fucking bothers me. That's really why I do this. Also because I, as an individual artist, an individual teacher, an individual creative, can only touch so many people. But every single person that I get out there fully expressed doing their soul work, touching their clients, they're going to reach that many more people. And some of their clients are going to go off and heal that many more people. This is the ripple effect that we are creating when we get the artists, the creatives, the healers fully employed out from wage slavery, actually making their living, doing the work they want to do. And not just making a living, but making wild wealth. Because the other thing that I believe is that entrepreneurship is one of the surest paths to wealth in our country today. When you have a job, there's only so much money you're going to earn at that job. You are going to be wage capped at a certain point. When you are working for yourself, when you are selling things online, the only cap to what you can earn is really what you believe is possible and what you've built the infrastructure to sustain in your business. Other than that, the sky's the limit. And I'm never going to fire myself. So when the artists, the creatives, the healers, the people who want to help the world are making big money, like life-changing money, out of survival, regulated nervous systems, able to feed themselves and secure their housing and take care of themselves and take care of their immediate families, then they can start taking care of their communities. Then we all start having the kind of money we need to have to get policies shifted, to fund the kind of initiatives that get change made on a citywide level, on a statewide level, on a countrywide level. We can't make that kind of moves until we have the kind of money where we can compete with the kind of people who are making those kind of moves. The people who are making big decisions about our well-being are the people with the money to have the influence to do so. How do we get the money to have the influence to do so? I believe entrepreneurship, right? These are things I'm on fire about in my soul. These are things I deeply believe. So it is very easy for me to talk about them. It is very easy for me to just do what I just did and tell you, these are the things I believe to my core. This is something I know to be true. This is something I know to be important. This is why my work is what my work is. So a couple of the reels that I had put out were bopping around, and one of them was doing really well organically, really well for me. It had over 1,000 views. A lot of my reels get like 200 views. I don't get a lot of views on social media. And so that one reel that had 1,300 views behind it, I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to throw a little ad money behind this. And I'm not going to drive it to a sales page because I don't have a sales page for this offer. One does not exist. I'm just going to set it up to DM me a phrase. And I put a little money behind it. And this thing has been going crazy. I have been waking up every day to between 5 and 7 leads of the right people finding me and being like, I want to do this. You're so on fire. You're so passionate. It seems like you genuinely care. I believe what you believe. I have been hiding. I have been scared. It is my time. I don't want to stay stuck anymore. What do I need to do? How do I get in? From DMs. And I've just been having sales conversations in the DMs. I have just been answering all their questions via voice note, encouraging them to go look at my client brags and my testimonials and check out my work, and telling them, here's what we're going to do. Here's what the program is going to be like. Here's my goal. It's to get you full-time in your business by this time next year. It's going to require you to be completely passionate and delusional and come in ready to hit the ground running. But if you're willing to do that, I'm willing to help you. Do you want to do it? And people have been saying, send me all the information. All the information that I am sending is a Loom video I made breaking down, here's what's going to be inside. Loom video, capped at 5 minutes. Here's what we're doing. Here's why I'm doing it. Here's what's going to be inside the program. I'm excited to have you. Welcome to my world. And then 2 payment links that I had made, one for a pay in full and one for five payments of $500. And I was sending out an email saying, welcome, here's a little video re-breaking down what all's included, and here are the payment links. Once you get in, I'm going to have you do a doodle and vote on what call times work best for you. This is not an existing course. It's not an existing program. You're coming in and we're building this on you. Hop on in. And I've got people buying a $2,500 offer from one reel and one conversation in the DMs. And I am now on track to have revenue this month that matches the revenue number I was writing in my journal that morning, Saturday morning, of I'm so happy and grateful now that it's a year from today and I'm making this number on autopilot every single month, which is crazy. That wasn't the intention. It wasn't a plan. None of this was planned. I was joking that I'm like a dog chasing a car, right? Like I'm just doing stuff. I had to hit up my team, my project manager, and say, hey, I know it's been a really long time since you were offline for a weekend and you came back and I'd gone rogue and launched a new program while you were gone, but surprise, today's the day. And they're all very supportive. I love my team. Thank God for them. So this has just been such an interesting experience. And another thing that's been really interesting about it is noticing how little fear, how little doubt that once I locked into my own frequency of, I believe in this, I believe in the work, I know that I can do this. I have evidence that I've delivered this kind of result for people before. I have no hesitation or doubt about that. I feel good about the price point. I feel good about the timing. I'm just going to do it. Watching myself take bold action without overcomplicating. My company is called Intuitive Edge. The reason I called it that was because I believe your intuition is your competitive edge in art, in business, and in life. People can copy your programs and do. People will buy your program and copy it down to the letter. People can copy your marketing. People can copy your branding. No one can copy your intuition. In my dance career, I was in a very small dance community for a while. And I would see festivals. I would go to festivals where I had performed or taught the year before. And the following year, I'd see companies doing what looked like a knockoff of the act we'd done last year. And I had people point it out to me and be like, there's so many things that look like what you did last year. How do you feel about that? My answer was, wait till they see what we brought this year. Because what we brought this year is so different than what we brought last year. The greatest, kind of defense against imitation is continual innovation. You can copy my old shit. I'm so passionate about my new shit that I'm not worried about it. You want my hand-me-downs? You want my leftovers? Take it. No one can copy your intuition. No one can copy your inner knowing. No one can copy the downloads that you get from your spirit guides. That's yours. And so alignment frequently matters more than polish. And I think we can really, as business owners, once we start getting established, once we start doing what I tell you to do, which is build a machine that makes money for you, and the machine works, then we start maybe getting into a thing that's like effort is what makes people move. Effort is what makes sales. That you have to have the polished funnels and all of the emails, the sales pages, the long launch period, the big launch event in order to make money, especially a several $1,000 cold sale. But sometimes passion and clarity and conviction in your offer, sometimes keeping things simple and having direct conversations can be hugely effective. Something that I've found funny is that Meta changed something, and now even if you specify that you only want your ads shown to women, they're showing them to men. I do not like. I know that no one from Meta is listening to this, but anyone from Meta, if you hear this, don't do that. It's not safe. There's a reason women and femmes don't want men to see our ads, and sometimes it's because we get a lot of unwanted attention from men when we're trying to talk about something that has nothing to do with dating or it's a whole thing. When men see my ads, they get weird. I'm here talking about business and I'll get men in my DMs just hi. Very annoying. But the other odd thing is that it's been only men specifically who have been trying to cold sell me their services in my DMs based on my ad. And just today, I had this man come in my DMs who had a business where he was a closer and another one who was a copywriter. And they're like, how's this going for you? Are you doing well? Sometimes DM conversations get abandoned and people aren't, they're seeing interest, but they're not seeing sales. Do you have somebody closing in your DMs for you? How's your conversion rate going? And I was like, bro, I can talk to my own customers. I'm completely comfortable getting in here and having sales conversations with people about my offer. I know my offer. I know what it is. I know how to have a sales conversation. I'm just asking people, what's the business that you're building? And if I can help them, I'm telling them, a monarch just showed up outside my window. I'm telling them, yes, I can help you. Here's what I can do for you. Here's the program. Here's how it works. Do you want an invitation? And if they have questions, they're asking questions and I'm answering their questions. It's really not that hard. Like what? Like it's hard. I don't need some dude bro closer coming in and asking me if my sales efforts are doing well enough. Get out of here. I'm fine. Thank you. And then the copywriter was asking me how things were working for me and saying, that ad you wrote was really good. I'm wondering who writes your copy. And I was like, I didn't write anything. That was just me talking. That was me sitting in my car at the beach on a Sunday morning full of caffeine and passion and talking about what I believe. And it's doing fine. Thank you. And the funniest part was he was writing me a pitch using ChatGPT and asking me how I was transitioning these people to a sales page. And I said, I wasn't. I'm not transitioning them to a sales page. I am just having direct conversations with people about their work and my work. And I'm making real connections. And that seems to be doing very well. Thank you. And it was so empowering and fascinating for me to watch myself tell people I'm actually really good at sales. Period. I don't need any help with this. Thank you. I'm actually really good at sales. And I am because of my own work, y'all, because of consensual sales. Feeling how my own programs and the inner work that I've been doing with myself and sharing with my clients for these past few years has completely changed who I am. I'm so confident about selling that it feels like a lovely chat with a friend because of my sacral sales program that I created and tested on myself. That's why I feel so good at sales. That's why I feel like no one could come into my business and replace me. Not that I couldn't ever get to the point where my business is big enough that I have a sales team. Sure, that's possible. But I don't need to outsource selling because I have no weird feelings about selling because I know how to have a consensual, delightful, intimate, connected conversation with someone about whether or not we want to do something together, because that's all that sales is. And what it would take for us to make that exchange. If you would like me to do this thing for you, here's what I'm going to need from you in exchange. If this feels good for both of us and we want to spend a year building your dream together, let's do it. That's an intimate conversation that I feel completely confident and comfortable having because of sacral sales. I'm also doing this in the midst of delivering and living inside of my program, the Self-Trust Protocol, that's going on this month. And the more I've been doing those lessons and anchoring into how much I trust myself, I've been talking with the group in there about the idea that birds don't land on a branch because they trust the branch to be strong. They land on the branch because they know they have wings. If the branch breaks, they'll just fly. And so often we're going around looking for the strongest, sturdiest branch and feeling like if we don't have the surest footing, then we can't do anything. And we hold ourselves back. But when we trust our own wings, when we trust that no matter what happens, we're going to be fine, it's a lot safer to just take empowered, aligned action and see what happens and just take the next right step. And so I am even more emboldened by the fact that my own inner work, the things that I teach, the things that I do with my clients have put me in this position where I trust myself to be able to do this. I'm also in a place where I can do something like this without any major impact or upheaval to my business because of how much structure I have built in the machine and how comfortable I am with each piece of it. I am very comfortable creating offers, pricing, with selling, with experimenting, and I'm able to do things like this because of all of the systems that I've already established. I feel really confident that I can help 20 people be full-time in their business by this time next year because I've done it so many times before. And I have a lot of evidence that this is work I can do. I feel so confident that I can deliver this program because I've created so much course material over the years that I can pull and rely on to put together a course that does this without needing to make a ton of stuff that's brand new. I will be making some new stuff because I have new thoughts, but I can pull a lot of the programs I've already used and give them to these people to supplement some of the work they have to do. I don't need to reinvent the wheel. I already have a really streamlined structure with my team on how we build out course portals. So they all know how to do what's going to be required with the tech. My project manager knows how to get a new project on our project board and get it integrated with our calendar. How to get it integrated with here's how replays work and how they get out to clients. And all of the back end for how we run a program is so established that adding another year-long program and serving another 20 clients just doesn't seem overwhelming to me or to the team or to the business at all. And this is what I talk about all the time with the back end of your business being like throwing a party. right? We don't want to invite a bunch of people over and not have anything for them, not have chairs, not have cups, not have food for enough people. We want to get it to the point that if 100 clients showed up overnight, you would be able to sustain, you'd be able to take care of them. We are in that position now where I could bring in 20 clients over a weekend and the business doesn't crumble from delivery. So at the beginning of my business, moving like this might have created a lot of chaos and a lot of scrambling and a lot of fear of like, oh my God, I did this thing and now I have to serve it. But with the place I'm at now in the business, I'm able to move with more intuition and more freedom because of all of the things that we've already gotten established and all the work that I've already done to get the business this stable, that we could host a big party last minute and be okay. And I feel like a lot of us want all the intuition and all the magic and all of the fast action. And we run away from setting up structure. But to me, what I've learned is that structure enables agility. Structure enables agility. The fact that we have this all set up like this lets me be creative, lets me get sudden pings and sudden downloads and go, ooh, it's time for me to act on this new idea and just move. And everyone in the business goes, okay, slight adjustments. I was just thinking about Cher from Clueless. Like, I don't party with the Haitians. We can totally party with the Haitians. Like, why can't we just get to the kitchen and move some things around? We can totally party with the Haitians. If you haven't seen Clueless, that's weird. Go watch Clueless. Otherwise, you already know. So I don't know where this launch is going to end up. This program is officially happening. A while back, I was thinking about rebranding Elemental Entrepreneurship Coven as Six Figure Healers Club. And it did occur to me that this might be Six Figure Healers Club, and I don't know it yet. And if it is, then that'll be great. Right now, I've just been calling it Six Figure Business Accelerator. And it's going to start in May. I'm in the middle of launching it right now. The other strange thing is this is not what's on the calendar for me right now. I am prepping for the Powerhouse launch that always happens in May. We're getting ready for Powerhouse launch event in May and opening the cart in May and having a new group join Powerhouse Mastermind in June. But again, everything is so easy for that launch because I've done it before, that I am doing this light lift kind of off the cuff mini launch that's going to bring all of these new people into my business and get all of these new people the help they need to grow their own business and bringing all of this revenue into my business alongside my normal calendar for the week of getting the launch event and the emails and the funnel built for my next launch. So even though this is not what I'm supposed to be doing this week, this is what's happening. I am going to stop really promoting this at the end of this week because I do need to shift focus into the Powerhouse launch. And I have this brand new group of people starting with me at the first week of May. So now it's about kind of getting things prepared to serve them at the highest level when we start in a couple weeks. I'm sure that I'm going to have more lessons and more takeaways from this whirlwind experience when it's all over and wrapped and the cart is closed and I can really sit down and think about what all just happened. But I didn't want to miss an opportunity to share with you from the middle of it, from kind of the eye of the storm as it's happening, because it does feel like I'm in a current. It feels like I am in the path of least resistance. It feels like I am laying on the river with my toes pointed downstream and just allowing myself to be carried by a current. And it feels really magical and really delightful and really exciting. And especially after having so many launches back to back that I put a lot of effort into and a lot of structure that didn't go the way that I wanted them to have a launch that's so light and so impromptu and so improvised and so simple. And it's really just me having conversations with people. It is the most basic it could possibly be, that it's almost hard to even call it a launch. it feels really right and it feels really good. It feels like what people want right now. Everyone's really used to everything going to, a sales page, an email funnel, a freebie, an event. I think this thing of me just showing up and talking with people is refreshing for the people who are jumping in. So there's something there for sure that I'm going to be analyzing and looking at more as this process wraps. But yeah, I just felt like I should come on and share that this is what's happening. I would love to hear your thoughts on this. You are welcome to email me, intuitiveedgecoaching@gmail.com. You can comment on YouTube. You can DM me on Instagram at intuitiveedgecoaching, at the Inner Game of Entrepreneurship podcast Instagram. What is it called? Inner Game of Entrepreneurship Pod, I think is the name of our Instagram there. I always love hearing your thoughts, and I would love to hear from you. And if you want to join this cohort, if you are a person listening to this and you are not full-time in your business and you would like to be by this time next year, and you are willing to be delusional and passionate about going all in on your dream, and you want to be part of this group, I'd love to have you. There's no sales page for it. So email intuitiveedgecoaching@gmail.com and just put in the subject Figure Biz Accelerator, and let me know in your email who you are and what the business is that you're trying to build. And I will send you all of the info back and we can get you in. Yeah, I'd love to have you. So again, just email me intuitiveedgecoaching@gmail.com with the subject line Figure Biz Accelerator, and we can get you in there. It feels very fun. This feels very fun. It feels very fresh. It feels very alive. I'm having a ball. I hope it was fun to hear about. I would love to hear your thoughts on it. That's all I got for you today. Okay, love you. Bye.
That's our episode for today. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this. I know there are so many things that you could be doing with your day, so many things you could be listening to, and it means so much that you are here in this community. If you enjoyed this episode, please take a moment, share it on social media, and tag me at Intuitive Edge Coaching. Share it with a biz bestie who you think needs to hear it and will appreciate it. And take a moment to to subscribe, and to leave a 5-star review wherever you are listening. It helps me grow this show, and it helps us grow and sustain this brilliant community of entrepreneurs dedicated to doing the inner work. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, love you. Bye.